The Five Nights at Freddy's movie is finally coming to theaters, so you might want to brush up on your lore by playing the games in the right order. Here's how. Hollywood has been trying to make a film based on the Five Nights at Freddy's video game franchise for years. Finally, this Halloween season, fans will get what they've been waiting for. When Scott Cawthon's original point-and-click survival horror game was released in 2014, it became a sensation. It spawned games, books, toys, and enough fan art to fill a museum. Though it doesn't seem like it'll be necessary to fully understand the game's lore in order to enjoy the movie, those who feel compelled to complete the franchise before seeing the film might want to get started now. There are 9 canonical video games in the series, and much like the Saw franchise, the release order of the Five Nights at Freddy's games does not tell its story in chronological order. While some argue that playing the games in release order is more fun and scarier since you won't have all of the answers to questions that'll arise throughout gameplay, some of us are panicky scaredy cats who want to know what's coming. If you're looking to play the games in chronological order before the film debuts in theaters and streams on Peacock on October 27, 2023, here's what you need to know. The first game in the chronology is actually Five Nights at Freddy's 4, which is set in 1983. The player controls a young child in their bedroom, tormented by twisted versions of the characters Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy. You use a flashlight and run between the bedroom doors, closet, and then back to your bed. The year the game takes place is confirmed in an Easter egg during a minigame where the player can trigger a commercial for the Fredbear and Friends show on television. The next chronological game is Five Nights at Freddy's 2, where players take on the role of a restaurant security guard. Based on the date printed on the paycheck that the player receives after Night 5, the game takes place in 1987. In addition to the 4 core animatronics, we're introduced to 2 new characters, the Puppet and Balloon Boy. While players can now wear a Fredbear costume head to try and trick the animatronics, the Puppet won't be fooled. You'll need to keep a music box playing to keep it away.
I'll be honest, I never liked that puppet thing. It's always thinking, and it can go anywhere.
The next game is trickier to place, since there's debate among fans regarding the exact time when Five Nights at Freddy's sister location occurs. But theories set the game between the late 80s and early 90s, with the player controlling an overnight technician at Circus Baby's Entertainment and Rental, a children's entertainment competitor complete with their own animatronics that came about after the 1987 tragedy that shut the Freddy Fazbear empire down. The player must survive the night while also completing repairs throughout the game. Set in 1993, the first Five Nights at Freddy's inserts players in the middle of the story. Taking on the role of security guard Mike Schmidt, players must keep watch at the dilapidated Freddy Fazbear's Pizza for 5 night shifts. While it seems like a security guard should be preoccupied with making sure delinquent teens aren't breaking in after hours, this game introduced the franchise's 4 iconic animatronics who roam around at night. While the player's job involves reserving power, watching security cameras, and staying safe, little fascinating crumbs of lore are scattered throughout this first game. This includes hearing the phone guy mention the bite of 87, which we later learned took place around the time of Five Nights at Freddy's 2.
Yeah, it's amazing that the human body can live without the frontal lobe.
The lack of backstory adds to the terror of the original Five Nights at Freddy's, putting the player in the same headspace as Mike Schmidt. We ask ourselves, why are these animatronics coming to life? Who did this? How dangerous are these machines? Does it even matter? None of these questions are given a definitive answer, which motivates fans to learn the truth in future games. It's doubtful that Cawthon could have anticipated the success that would come with the franchise, but by introducing the series with these ambiguous details, it provided plenty of room for expansion. Whether he intended it or not, Cawthon laid a lot of groundwork in this first game. Five Nights at Freddy's 3 takes place 30 years after all of the Freddy Fazbear pizzerias closed for good, putting the timeline somewhere in the 2020s. The game takes place at Fazbear's Fright, the horror attraction, an insensitive and ghastly capitalist hellscape based on the real-life tragedies in the games. The attraction even has the original animatronics on display, much like the creepy Ghostface Museum in Scream 6. Mechanically, the gameplay is similar to Five Nights at Freddy's 2, though expanded upon while introducing the character Springtrap. And speaking of Springtrap, they also appear in Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator, which takes place shortly after Game 3. This entry marries the point-and-click survival horror elements of the franchise with the added bonus of being a business simulator. Run your own pizza place, just don't let the animatronics eat you too. The next game, Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted, was the series' first foray into virtual reality, with the events taking place either concurrently with Pizza Simulator or shortly afterward. It features both classic and new minigames, with the added terror of being in VR. Next, Five Nights at Freddy's Special Delivery is a mobile augmented reality game taking place around the same time as Help Wanted. The game is centered around the Fazbear Funtime service, which sends animatronics to your house. In-universe, this seems to be the Fazbear Corporation's second attempt at revitalizing the company following the Freddy Fazbear virtual experience in Help Wanted. Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach is the most recent canon game to be released, taking place after the creation of Freddy Fazbear's Mega Pizzaplex. Not only is the Fazbear Company on a successful upswing in popularity, they've expanded into their biggest location yet. The free-roam survival horror game has players controlling a small boy named Gregory, while the Ruin DLC expansion has players controlling Gregory's friend Cassie. In both games, the children must survive the night and discover an unlikely ally to help them stave off the horde of glam rock-style animatronics.
Do not return. It will never be safe. I will miss you.
Security Breach canonically takes place after all of the previous entries, which is confirmed in one of the endings after players win the game. While the game initially released to a mixed response due to copious bugs, it was given a patch to help fix some of the issues. This is certainly one of the more ambitious Five Nights at Freddy's games, so hopefully this recent patch will allow the game to thrive and keep players happy. As of this video, there are also 4 spin-off titles. While you don't need to have played them to understand the lore, all of the games bring their own unique, fun flavor to the world. Five Nights at Freddy's World is a turn-based fantasy RPG, which includes the 48 characters featured throughout the franchise and 2 modes of play, Adventure and Fixed Party. There's also Ultimate Custom Night, which allows players to fully customize their own version of the first Five Nights at Freddy's game. While non-canonical, fans have often theorized that this game is a purgatory-like state experienced by series antagonist William Afton, where the endless combinations provide the ultimate punishment for his transgressions. This is arguably the fandom's favorite spin-off game, as it allows the player to incorporate all of their favorite characters for maximum scares or downright silly situations. Freddy in Space 2 is a side-scrolling fighter game that Cawthon developed for a St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital fundraiser, and is just an expansion sequel to a minigame found in Freddy's World. The other side-scrolling spin-off is a beat-em-up that Cawthon published as an apology for the delays leading up to the release of Security Breach. The game looks like Streets of Rage, but with an art style that's more furry than fury.